In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, trying to be seen, and trying to prove something, there's a different kind of power in silence, a rare strength in stillness. Because real growth doesn't always make noise. Real transformation doesn't always ask for attention. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to say nothing, post nothing, and just build. Just become, just work in the shadows, in the quiet, in the places no one applauds. This message isn't for the ones who crave the spotlight. It's for the ones who crave substance. It's for the ones who are tired of talking and ready to execute. It's for the visionaries who are willing to disappear for a season so they can come back with something undeniable. Go silent, stay focused, let the results talk. This isn't just a motivational phrase, it's a mindset, a lifestyle, a call to those who understand that success doesn't come from being loud, but from being consistent, from building in silence, focusing with intensity, and letting your results speak so clearly you don't have to say a word. In a world that glorifies constant updates, loud opinions, and the need to be seen, silence is often misunderstood. People equate silence with weakness, with passivity, with fear. But that's a shallow view. Real power doesn't need a spotlight. It's forged in quiet, disciplined moments when nobody's watching. When you go silent, you're not retreating, you're reloading. You're stepping away from noise so you can hear what really matters. You're not hiding from the world. You're tuning into a higher frequency that most people are too distracted to hear. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategic power. Most people waste their energy explaining their goals instead of executing them. They talk about what they're going to do. They drop hints on social media, hoping for validation. But the truth is, the more you talk, the more you leak energy. Every time you share your vision prematurely, you open the door for doubt, for distraction, and for delay. Some things are sacred. Some dreams need protection, and silence becomes the shield that guards them while they're still forming. Think about it. Seeds grow in the dark, not in the spotlight, in the soil, beneath the surface, hidden from view. That's where roots dig deep. That's where strength is developed. And just like those seeds, your growth requires hiddenness before exposure. The silent seasons are not setbacks. They are setups. It's in those moments when no one sees you that you're becoming the person capable of handling the thing you're praying for. You don't need to post every move you make. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. If the goal is real, if the fire inside you is strong, you won't need the applause. You'll crave progress, and progress loves privacy. It loves the grind. It shows up for early mornings, late nights, and everything in between, but it doesn't need attention. That's where most people lose the battle. They want the result, but they also want recognition along the way. And those two don't always go hand in hand. Silence trains your spirit. It disciplines your emotions. It teaches you how to stay centered, how to stay aligned, even when the world around you is chaotic. Because once you realize you don't need validation, you become unstoppable. You're no longer reactive to opinions, likes, or comments. You've moved beyond the surface, beyond needing external motivation to keep going. Now you're driven by something internal, something sacred, something no one can touch. And that's where focus begins to sharpen. Because once the noise dies down, you begin to hear clearly. You hear purpose calling you. You hear that inner conviction that says, keep going even when no one claps. Keep building even when no one sees. Keep believing even when the results haven't shown up yet. That voice gets louder in the silence. And when you listen to it long enough, it leads you to places you never thought possible. When you go silent, you're not cutting yourself off from the world. You're preparing to serve it with something meaningful. You're putting your head down so that when you lift it, you've actually built something worth talking about, something that doesn't need to be defended or explained because it stands on its own. Remember, the loudest people often have the least to show. Noise is not proof of progress. Busyness is not the same as effectiveness. Some people stay loud because they're afraid of what silence might reveal, that maybe they haven't done the work, that maybe they're not as committed as they appear. But if you've been in that quiet place, working, growing, pruning, then you already know that silence isn't empty. It's full of potential, full of purpose, full of preparation. And the beauty is, when you come out of that silence with something real, no one can take it from you. Because it wasn't built on hype. It wasn't fueled by applause. It was forged in fire. It was shaped in solitude. And now it's ready to be revealed, but not by your words. So go silent, not out of fear, but out of focus, not because you're unsure, but because you're anchored. Use the silence to sharpen your vision, to protect your energy, and to train your mind. And when the time is right, you won't need to say a thing. Your results will do all the talking. Focus, one of the rarest commodities in our world today. Everywhere you look, there's a distraction, something tugging at your attention, demanding a response, pulling you away from what actually matters. But the truth is, nothing great is built without focus. Distraction is the enemy of destiny. You can't move forward with purpose if your mind is constantly split in 10 different directions. Focus isn't just about productivity, it's about power. When you're focused, you're dangerous. Because now all your energy, all your time, and all your effort are aimed in one direction. Most people never reach their potential because they can't stay locked in long enough to see the fruit of their labor. They start strong, they get excited, they make plans, but then something newer, shinier, more entertaining comes along and they lose momentum. Focus demands discipline. It demands that you say no to good things so you can say yes to the right things. Not everything that's available is beneficial. Not every opportunity is your assignment. You've got to learn how to filter, because if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. And most dreams don't die from failure, they die from distraction. You've only got so much energy, so much attention, and every time you give a piece of that away to things that don't serve your purpose, you delay your own progress. You dilute your impact. Think about a magnifying glass. When it channels sunlight in one spot, that light becomes fire. But if the light is scattered, it's just warmth. Your life is the same way. If your energy is scattered, you'll stay busy but never effective. But when you focus, when you center everything around your calling, your values, your vision, you ignite something powerful. You begin to burn with clarity. That's why going silent is so important, because it creates space for focus. When you stop broadcasting every move, you stop seeking validation and start building. You begin to measure your days, not by how many people noticed you, but by how many steps you took toward the goal. Focus gives you the ability to live intentionally. It teaches you to live by priorities, not pressure. To pursue progress, not popularity. It draws you into a deeper kind of success. One that's not loud, not flashy, but lasting. And here's what most people don't realize. Focus is not just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. When you stay locked in on your purpose, you start shedding old habits. You lose the need to compare. You stop caring about what everyone else is doing because you're too busy becoming. You're too deep in the work to be distracted by surface level noise. That's when the transformation starts, not just around you, but in you. And you also learn to protect your time like it's sacred, because it is. Focus teaches you that not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every message needs a reply. Not every trend is worth chasing. You start moving differently. You develop boundaries. You choose depth over speed. You no longer rush to keep up. You walk steadily in your lane, knowing that consistency beats hype every time. While others are sprinting circles, you're moving forward with quiet determination. There will be days when it feels like your focus isn't producing fast results. You'll be tempted to chase the quick win, to follow the crowd, to give up and try something easier. But that's when you hold the line. That's when you remind yourself that the results don't show up immediately, but they will show up eventually. If you stay focused long enough, the breakthrough becomes inevitable. The consistency compounds. The quiet hours stack up. And one day, people will wonder how you did it. They'll think it happened overnight, but you'll know the truth. You'll know about the silent nights, the missed parties, the early mornings, the focused grind when no one else was watching. And you'll also know that every second was worth it. Because focus doesn't just build results, it builds character. It shapes you into someone who's not swayed by feelings, not moved by trends, and not shaken by criticism. You become steady, rooted, unstoppable. And that's the kind of person who wins. Not once, but continually. The focused person isn't always the loudest in the room, but they're the most consistent, the most driven, the most intentional, and eventually they're the most impactful. Because they didn't waste energy trying to prove themselves. They put all that energy into improving them. So don't chase everything. Don't spread yourself thin. Get clear on what matters and give it everything you've got. Build your days around your purpose. Protect your peace. Guard your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Stay focused. Let the world be loud. Let the noise come and go. You're not here for applause. You're here to win. In the end, what speaks the loudest isn't your voice, it's your results. It's not the declarations you make or the plans you announce. It's the fruit of your discipline, the evidence of your consistency, the visible outcomes of your unseen grind. You can talk all day about what you're going to do, but words won't move mountains. Work will. Intentions don't impress the world, impact does. And when your actions are aligned with purpose, the results will always tell the story better than you ever could. There's a reason we're told to let our light shine, not our noise. Results shine. They speak volumes without ever raising their voice. They silence critics, they answer doubts, and they make statements that words could never match. That's why you've got to stop trying to convince people and start committing to the process. Let the word speak. Let the late nights and early mornings speak. Let the years of patience, prayer, and persistence speak. That's a language everyone understands. And here's the truth. When you're truly focused, when you've gone silent and put your head down, you don't even care about proving people wrong anymore. You're not driven by revenge or validation. You're driven by vision, by something deep inside of you that's calling you higher. And that's when the results start to take shape, not just in what you accomplish, but in who you become. Because results aren't just financial, they're mental, emotional, spiritual. Sometimes the biggest result is the peace you gain from staying committed to your path when everything around you tried to pull you off course. It's tempting to want recognition along the way, to hope someone notices your effort, praises your progress, or validates your journey. But that kind of approval is temporary and fragile. The kind of success that lasts is the kind that's built in silence and revealed through results. It's when people don't see you coming, but they can't ignore you when you arrive. And it's not because you told them, it's because you showed them. But here's what most people don't understand. Results take time. They don't show up the moment you start the journey. There's a season where you're putting in the work, but nothing is changing on the outside. It's frustrating. You feel like your prayers are being ignored. You feel like your energy is going unnoticed. But that's just the seed stage. You're planting, you're preparing, and you've got to trust that what's growing under the surface will eventually break through if you don't quit. That's where faith meets focus. You keep showing up when no one's clapping. You keep improving when no one's watching. You stay committed when it would be easier to explain yourself or defend your decision. But you know it's not your job to convince people. It's your job to do the work, because the work never lies. The results will either confirm your discipline or expose your distraction. And when the results finally show up, they speak with authority. They don't whisper, they thunder. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because excellence always attracts attention. Not empty attention, but earned attention. There's a difference. Anyone can go viral, but not everyone can sustain greatness. That takes results. That takes character. That takes commitment over time. It's also why you don't need to clap back at every critic or respond to every doubter. Results are the best response. They're the strongest comeback. Because when you deliver, you don't have to explain. Your life becomes your statement. Your peace becomes your proof. Your fruit becomes your evidence. And no one can argue with evidence. They can debate your methods, your background, or your motives, but they can't debate results. So don't be discouraged if no one sees your effort right now. Don't be frustrated if the applause hasn't come. Keep building, keep becoming, keep showing up in silence, knowing that every step forward is creating momentum. Your time is coming. Not because you said it, but because you showed it. You put in the time, you made the sacrifices, you stayed focused. And now your results will make the noise for you. Let your success speak louder than your defense. Let your progress say what your words never could. Because when the results show up, they don't just validate your process, they elevate your position. They open doors that noise never could. They introduce you in rooms you didn't even know were watching, and all because you made a decision to stay silent, stay focused, and let the results talk. Let the work speak, let the results talk. We live in a world obsessed with speed. Everyone wants to go viral, blow up overnight, and have instant recognition. But greatness doesn't work like that. It doesn't rush. It doesn't crave attention. It doesn't look for shortcuts. Greatness is patient. It's consistent. It grows slowly and quietly, often behind closed doors. And that's why one of the greatest things you can do is delay the applause and stay committed to delivering the masterpiece. There's power in being hidden, power in taking your time to build something that actually lasts. Not something for likes or claps, but something of real value, something that speaks long after the moment is gone. You don't need to be seen right now. You need to be prepared. There's a difference. Being seen too soon can ruin what preparation and silence would have strengthened. It's better to be overlooked while you're becoming than to be celebrated before. And it's hard because everything in you wants to prove that you're doing something important. You want people to know you're not wasting time. But here's the truth. The work you're doing in silence is never wasted. The discipline, the sacrifice, the late nights, it's all adding up. And one day when the time is right, it won't just show. It'll shine. You'll step into the light, not empty-handed, but with something worth showing. Not a half-finished version rushed for approval, but a masterpiece refined by time and pressure. That's what the silent season is about. It's about refusing to settle for applause when what you're carrying is worth more. It's about being okay with not being noticed because you understand you're being developed. You're sharpening your skills, deepening your roots, laying a foundation that won't crumble under the weight of success. Because that's the danger. When you chase the spotlight before you've built the strength to handle it, it'll expose your weaknesses instead of showcasing your work. Every truly great thing takes time. Ask any artist, any builder, any athlete. Masterpieces aren't rushed. They're labored over, crafted with care, refined again and again until they reflect the vision clearly. That's what you're doing every time you choose to keep building in private instead of broadcasting in public. Every time you choose to stay quiet and stay working, you're choosing excellence over exposure. And that choice will separate you from the crowd. It's easy to start something and announce it. It's hard to finish something and let it speak for itself. The world is full of people who start loudly and never finish. But you're different. You're not looking for attention. You're looking for alignment. You're not addicted to recognition. You're committed to results. That mindset makes you rare. It makes you powerful. Because when everyone else is rushing to be seen, you're refining your craft. When everyone else is posting progress, you're building legacy. Don't let the silence fool you. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing's happening. Growth is happening. Maturity is happening. The kind of transformation that can't be posted, but will be revealed in due time. There's a reason you're in this season. There's something God or life or your purpose is doing in you that can't be rushed, that can't be explained. It can only be experienced. And one day it will be expressed, not through your words, but through your life, through the results that can't be ignored. So stay patient, trust the timing, keep pouring into the process, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, especially then. That's when you're proving to yourself and the world that you're not doing this for the applause. You're doing it because it matters, because it's part of who you are. And that kind of commitment builds something that lasts, something that doesn't just make noise, but makes impact. And here's the beautiful part. When the time comes and you finally step into the light, you won't have to explain anything. You won't have to prove your worth. The masterpiece will do it for you. People will look at your work, your discipline, your results, and they'll see the depth, the excellence, the clarity. They'll know you didn't rush it. You respected the process. You honored the quiet season, and now the outcome is undeniable. So don't be discouraged by the delay. Don't rush the masterpiece. Don't trade long-term impact for short-term attention. Keep building, keep refining, and keep trusting that when the results finally speak, they won't just make noise, they'll leave a mark. Let the masterpiece speak for itself.